The diamond necklace felt heavier in my hands than its actual weight suggested. Maybe it was the weight of 10 years, or maybe it was the weight of hope that tonight would somehow fix what had been slowly breaking between us. I'm Ethan Jameson, 38 years old, and I work in IT security for a mid-sized firm in Los Angeles. I'm not the romantic type by nature, but anniversaries matter, right? 10 years of marriage deserves more than a forgotten dinner and a half-hearted happy anniversary mumbled over morning coffee. The reservation at Mastro's had been made 3 months ago. Table for two, 7:30, anniversary special menu. I'd even called twice to confirm, because Kendall had this habit of making plans and forgetting them, leaving me to clean up the social wreckage with apologetic phone calls and rescheduled commitments. I tucked the small velvet box into my jacket pocket and checked my watch. 6:15. Kendall should be home any minute from her pharmaceutical sales job, probably complaining about difficult doctors or demanding quotas. She'd been stressed lately, working longer hours, coming home exhausted and irritable. I figured tonight might remind us both why we'd fallen in love in the first place. The front door slammed with enough force to rattle the picture frames in our Westwood home. Not exactly the entrance I'd hoped for. "Honey, you're home," I called from the kitchen, where I'd been arranging roses in a vase like some kind of domestic god. "How was your day?" Kendall swept past me without a glance, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor with military precision. She was already pulling her phone from her purse, scrolling through messages with the intensity of a day trader watching stock prices. "Fine, busy, the usual." Her response was clipped, distracted. She headed straight for the stairs, probably aiming for our bedroom to change clothes. "Hey, before you disappear," I said, following her to the bottom of the staircase. "Remember we have dinner reservations tonight? Our anniversary?" She paused halfway up the stairs, one manicured hand on the railing. For a moment I thought she'd forgotten. Then she turned, and I saw something in her expression that made my stomach drop. "Oh, right. That." She waved her hand dismissively. "I can't tonight. Monica and the girls are going to that new club downtown. Sasha got us VIP access." I blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "The club. You know, the one Tyler owns? Everyone's been talking about it." She was already moving again, disappearing into our bedroom. "You'll have to cancel the reservation." I stood there for a moment, processing. Tyler. Tyler Mendoza, the ex-soccer player turned nightclub owner. The guy with the perfect teeth and the Range Rover and the Instagram account full of shirtless workout videos. The guy Kendall had mentioned maybe a few too many times lately. I climbed the stairs slowly, giving myself time to think. In our bedroom, Kendall was already pulling clothes from her closet. Not the elegant dress I'd hoped she'd wear to dinner, but a tight black number that screamed, "Look at me," in neon letters. "Kendall," I said carefully, "it's our 10-year anniversary." "I know what day it is, Ethan." She didn't even look at me as she stripped off her work clothes. "But this is important. Monica's been planning this for weeks." "More important than our marriage?" That got her attention. She turned, half-dressed, and I saw a flash of something. Guilt? Annoyance? It was hard to tell. "Don't be dramatic. It's just dinner. We can do dinner any night." "I made reservations 3 months ago." "So unmake them." She turned back to her mirror, applying makeup with practiced efficiency. "It's not that big a deal." I felt something cold settle in my chest. "Not that big a deal." "Right. Look, I need to be ready by 7. Monica's picking me up." She glanced at me in the mirror. "You could go out with Greg or something. Make it a guy's night." I watched her transform herself, layer by layer. Foundation, concealer, eyeshadow, mascara. Each application seemed to erase a little more of the woman I'd married and replace her with someone I barely recognized. "So let me get this straight," I said. "You want me to cancel our anniversary dinner so you can go clubbing with your friends?" "I don't want you to do anything. I'm just telling you what's happening." She was applying lipstick now, a deep red that made her look like she was headed to a photo shoot. "If you don't like it, then divorce me." The words hung in the air between us like a challenge. She said it casually, the way someone might say, "Pass the salt," or "change the channel." But there was something underneath it, something that sounded almost like a dare. I pulled out my phone. "What are you doing?" she asked, still focused on her reflection. "Checking something." I opened the California court's website and navigated to the online filing system. It was surprisingly simple, really. California had modernized their divorce process years ago, making it possible to file electronically with just a few clicks and a credit card. Kendall finished her makeup and moved to her jewelry box, selecting earrings that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. She was humming something under her breath, completely absorbed in her preparations. I filled out the forms methodically. Petitioner: Ethan James Jameson. Respondent: Kendall Marie Jameson. Grounds: irreconcilable differences. Property: to be determined. Children: none. It was remarkable how 10 years of marriage could be reduced to a few drop-down menus and text boxes. "Almost ready," Kendall announced, slipping into her dress. It fit like it had been painted on. "How do I look?" "Like you're single," I said quietly. She laughed, but it sounded forced. "Very funny. Seriously, though, do I look okay?" I hit submit and entered my credit card information. The filing fee was $435. A bargain, really, for 10 years of marriage. "You look perfect," I said. The confirmation page loaded, complete with a case number and filing timestamp. Absolutely perfect for a single woman. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door, still humming. "Don't wait up. These things tend to run late." "Kendall." Something in my voice made her stop. She turned, one hand on the bedroom doorframe. "I filed for divorce." She laughed again, but this time it sounded nervous. "What?" I held up my phone, showing her the confirmation screen. "Online filing. California makes it very convenient. Case number 23FL001847. The papers will be served Monday morning." The color drained from her face. "You're joking." "I'm not joking, I'm divorced. Well, filing for divorce. Same difference." I turned the phone so she could see the screen clearly. "You told me to divorce you if I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So I divorced you." She stared at the screen like it might bite her. "Ethan, I didn't mean..." "You didn't mean what? You didn't mean you wanted to skip our anniversary dinner? You didn't mean you wanted to go clubbing instead? You didn't mean I should divorce you if I didn't like it?" I sat down on the bed and reached for the remote. Because I have it all on my phone's voice recorder. Amazing what technology can do these days. Her purse slipped from her fingers and hit the floor with a thud. "You can't be serious." "Dead serious. The filing fee was $435. I used the joint credit card, so technically you paid for half of your own divorce. There's some poetry in that, don't you think?" She stumbled backward until she hit the wall. "Ethan, please. I was just talking. I didn't mean it. I was just filing. I did mean it." I turned on the TV and flipped to the news. "Oh, look. Traffic's pretty bad downtown. You might want to leave early for your big night out." Her phone buzzed with a text message, then another. She ignored them both, staring at me like I'd grown a second head. "This is insane," she whispered. "You can't divorce me over one night." "I'm not divorcing you over one night. I'm divorcing you because you told me to. You were very clear about it. Divorce you if I don't like it. Well, I don't like it, so I divorced you." Her phone buzzed again. This time she looked at it, and I saw her face crumple. "Monica wants to know where I am," she said in a small voice. "Better tell her you're getting divorced." She typed something with shaking fingers. A moment later, her phone rang. She answered it on speaker, probably by accident. "Kendall, what's taking so long?" Monica's voice filled the room, sharp and impatient. "We're supposed to be there by 8. Ethan filed for divorce." Silence. Then, "What? Over what?" I chose clubbing over our anniversary dinner. The silence stretched longer this time. When Monica spoke again, her voice was cold. You're insane. You threw away 10 years for one night of clubbing? With a man who does everything for you? Monica, No, I'm not dealing with this drama tonight. Find your own ride. The line went dead. Kendall stared at her phone like it had betrayed her. Then she sank onto the floor, her back against the wall, her expensive dress pooling around her like spilled ink. Please don't do this, she whispered. I already did it. I didn't look away from the TV. The paperwork's filed. The process has started. Monday morning, a process server will knock on your door with official documents. I can't afford a lawyer. You probably should have thought of that before you told me to divorce you. She started crying then, ugly sobs that shook her whole body. I wanted attention. I'm stupid. I'm so stupid. Yes, I agreed. You are. Her phone buzzed with more messages. She ignored them at first, but they kept coming. Finally, she looked. Sasha's asking what happened. Monica told everyone. She looked up at me, with mascara streaking down her cheeks. They're all saying I'm crazy, that I deserve this. Sounds about right. She scrolled through more messages, her face getting paler with each one. No one's taking my side. They all think I'm insane. Because you are insane. Who chooses clubbing over their 10-year anniversary? Who tells their husband to divorce them and expects it to be an empty threat? She was quiet for a long time, just sitting there on the floor in her club dress, reading messages from friends who had apparently decided she wasn't worth their sympathy. What happens now? She asked finally. Now you figure out where you're going to live, and how you're going to afford it, and whether Tyler Mendoza is worth losing half of everything we've built together. I finally looked at her. Because that's what you're losing. Half the house, half the savings, half the retirement accounts, half of everything. The reality of it seemed to hit her all at once. She looked around our bedroom, our expensive furniture, our walk-in closet full of designer clothes, our king-size bed with the Italian sheets she'd insisted on buying. The house will be sold, unless one of us can afford to buy the other out. Can you afford to buy out my half of a $2 million house on a pharmaceutical sales salary? She shook her head slowly. Then it gets sold. We split the proceeds. You get to start over in a one-bedroom apartment somewhere, if you're lucky. She was crying harder now, but I felt nothing. No sympathy, no regret, no desire to comfort her. She'd made her choice. I'd simply followed through on her suggestion. I could call in sick, she said desperately. We could still go to dinner. I could change clothes. The reservation was for 7:30. It's 8:15 now, and I'm not hungry anymore. Tomorrow night, then. We could celebrate tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll be married to a man who's divorcing you. Not much to celebrate there. She pulled her knees to her chest and rocked back and forth like a child. This can't be happening. It is happening. You made it happen. You literally told me to make it happen. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was a call. She answered without looking at the caller ID. Hello? Kendall, it's Sasha. Monica told me what happened. Girl, what were you thinking? I don't know. I wasn't thinking. Damn right you weren't thinking. Ethan's a good guy. He worships you. And you threw it away for what? A night at Tyler's club? I know I screwed up. Screwed up? Honey, you didn't screw up. You committed relationship suicide. And now you want us to feel sorry for you? Sasha, please. No, I'm not enabling this. You made your bed, now lie in it. Alone. Another deadline. Kendall stared at her phone, then threw it across the room. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor, the screen cracking. Everyone hates me, she sobbed. Not everyone. Tyler probably still likes you, though he might feel differently when he finds out you're about to be a divorced woman with no money and no friends. She looked up at me with red, swollen eyes. How can you be so cruel? I'm not being cruel. I'm being realistic. This is what you wanted. You wanted to go clubbing instead of celebrating our marriage. You wanted me to divorce you if I didn't like it. You got exactly what you asked for. I didn't ask for this. Yes, you did. Literally, word for word. Divorce me if you don't like it. Those were your exact words. She struggled to her feet, smoothing down her dress. For a moment, I thought she might try to salvage the night, might still go to the club and pretend everything was fine. Instead, she walked to her closet and started pulling out clothes, throwing them onto the bed. What are you doing? Packing. If we're getting divorced, I should probably find somewhere else to stay. You don't have to leave tonight. The divorce will take months to finalize. I can't stay here. Not with you looking at me like that. Like what? Like you hate me. I considered that. I don't hate you. I'm disappointed in you. I'm angry at you. I'm disgusted by your choices, but I don't hate you. That's worse somehow. She packed mechanically, stuffing clothes into a suitcase without any organization. Designer dresses mixed with workout clothes, shoes thrown in randomly. Where will you go? Monica's, maybe. Or Sasha's. She paused. Actually, probably not. They made it pretty clear they don't want to deal with my drama. Hotel? I guess. Until I figure something else out. She zipped up the suitcase and looked around the room one more time. 10 years, she said quietly. 10 years, I agreed. Gone. Just like that. Not just like that. You worked pretty hard to destroy it tonight. She picked up her broken phone and her purse. I'm sorry, Ethan. I really am. I know you are. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry there were consequences. You're sorry your friends abandoned you. But are you sorry you chose clubbing over our marriage? Because I don't think you are. She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. We both knew I was right. Goodbye, Kendall. This isn't goodbye. We'll have to see each other. For the divorce proceedings. Then I'll see you in court. She left without another word, dragging her suitcase behind her. I heard her heels on the stairs, heard the front door open and close, heard her car start in the driveway. Then silence. I sat in our bedroom, my bedroom now, I supposed, and looked at the diamond necklace still sitting on the nightstand. $4,000 for a piece of jewelry that would never be worn, never be appreciated, never mark a happy anniversary. I picked up my phone and called Mastro's. Yes, I'd like to cancel a reservation for tonight. Jameson, party of 2 at 7:30. I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Jameson. Is everything all right? Everything's perfect, I said. My wife told me to divorce her if I didn't like her behavior. Turns out I didn't like it. There was a pause. See. Well, I hope everything works out for you. It already has? I hung up and ordered pizza instead. Pepperoni and mushroom, just the way I liked it. Kendall had always complained that mushrooms were disgusting, so we'd never ordered them. Amazing how many small compromises you make in a marriage, how many little pieces of yourself you give up to keep the peace. The pizza arrived 45 minutes later. I ate it in front of the TV, watching a documentary about sharks. Kendall hated nature documentaries. She said they were boring. My phone rang around 11. Kendall's name appeared on the screen, but I let it go to voicemail. Then she called again, and again. Finally, I answered. What? Ethan, please, can we talk? We are talking. I mean really talk. Face to face. I'm outside. I looked out the bedroom window and saw her car in the driveway. She was sitting behind the wheel, phone pressed to her ear. Go away, Kendall. I can't. I have nowhere to go. Monica won't answer her phone. Sasha blocked me. The hotels downtown are all booked because of some convention. Not my problem. Please. Just let me come inside. I won't try anything. I just need somewhere to sleep. You should have thought of that before you decided to blow up our marriage. I know I screwed up. But please, Ethan, I'm scared. I almost hung up. Almost. But despite everything, despite the anger and the hurt and the complete destruction of our relationship, I couldn't quite bring myself to leave her sitting in a car all night. Fine, you can sleep in the guest room, but this doesn't change anything. The divorce is still happening. I understand. I hung up and went downstairs to unlock the front door. She came in quietly, still wearing her club dress, but looking nothing like the confident woman who'd left a few hours earlier. Her makeup was ruined, her hair was a mess, and her eyes were red from crying. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Don't thank me. This is temporary. Tomorrow you figure out your own arrangements." She nodded and headed for the guest room. I heard her moving around for a while, then silence. I went to bed alone in our king-size bed, and for the first time in months, I slept well. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of coffee and bacon. For a moment, I forgot what had happened and thought maybe Kendall was making breakfast as an apology. Then I remembered, she didn't cook. She barely knew how to work the coffee maker. I went downstairs and found her in the kitchen, still wearing yesterday's dress, standing over the stove with a spatula in her hand. She'd attempted to make scrambled eggs, but they looked more like yellow rubber. "I made breakfast," she said without turning around. "I can see that. I thought maybe we could talk. About last night. About everything. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice. I made mine. But maybe we could work something out. Maybe we could try counseling." I poured myself coffee and leaned against the counter. Counseling for what? To help you understand why choosing clubbing over your anniversary was a bad idea. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. To help us communicate better. To help me understand why I've been so unhappy. You've been unhappy? Yes. For months, maybe longer. And instead of talking to me about it, you decided to blow up our marriage. I didn't mean to blow up our marriage. I just wanted, I don't know, excitement, adventure, something different. And you thought you'd find that at Tyler Mendoza's nightclub. She flinched. It wasn't about Tyler, wasn't it? You've mentioned him quite a few times lately. Tyler's new club, Tyler's success story, Tyler's workout routine, Tyler's Range Rover. He's just someone Monica knows. Someone Monica knows that you've developed a pretty obvious crush on. That's not true. Isn't it? Be honest, Kendall. If Tyler hadn't been involved in last night's plans, would you have chosen clubbing over our anniversary? She was quiet for a long time, poking at the rubbery eggs with her spatula. "I don't know," she said finally. "I do. You wouldn't have. This was about Tyler. You wanted to see him, to be around him, to let him see you all dressed up and beautiful. Our anniversary was just collateral damage. Even if that's true, it doesn't mean I don't love you. No, it means you love the idea of him more than you love the reality of me." The eggs started smoking. She turned off the burner and scraped them into the trash. "I ruined breakfast too," she said, laughing bitterly. "You ruin a lot of things." She turned to face me, and I saw fresh tears in her eyes. "I know you hate me. I told you last night I don't hate you. But I don't trust you anymore, and I don't respect you, and I can't be married to someone I don't trust or respect. What if I promise to change? What if I promise to grow 6 inches taller? Some things can't be changed, Kendall. Some things are just who you are." My phone buzzed with a text message. I glanced at it and saw a number I didn't recognize. "Hey man, this is Greg. Got your number from the firm directory. Heard through the grapevine you might need a good divorce attorney. Call me when you get a chance." I showed Kendall the message. Word travels fast. "Who's Greg?" "Former cop turned security consultant. Also happens to be a damn good lawyer. And apparently, he's heard about our situation." "How?" "Small world, smaller legal community. When someone files for divorce on a Friday night, people notice." She slumped against the counter. "This is really happening, isn't it?" "This already happened. Last night, when you told me to divorce you. I was angry. I was frustrated. I said something stupid, You said something honest. Maybe the most honest thing you've said to me in months. My phone rang. Greg's number. I should take this, I said, answering the call. Greg, thanks for reaching out. Ethan, buddy, I heard you had an interesting Friday night. You okay? I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. Good for you. Listen, I know this is probably overwhelming, but the sooner we get ahead of this thing, the better. Can you meet me this afternoon? We should talk strategy. Strategy? Divorce is war, my friend, and in war, the side that plans better usually wins. I looked at Kendall, who was listening to every word with growing panic. I'll be there. What time? 2 o'clock? My office is in Century City. Perfect. See you then. I hung up and found Kendall staring at me with wide eyes. Divorce is war? She repeated. Apparently. Ethan, please, we don't have to make this ugly. We can be civilized about it. You're right. We can be civilized. You can accept a fair settlement, sign the papers, and move on with your life. Simple. What's fair? 50-50 split of assets. You keep your car, I keep mine. We sell the house and split the proceeds. Retirement accounts get divided equally. She was quiet, probably doing math in her head. What about spousal support? What about it? Don't I qualify? You have a job. You have an income. You're perfectly capable of supporting yourself. But I'm used to a certain lifestyle. Then you should have thought about that before you destroyed the marriage that provided that lifestyle. She started crying again, but this time I felt nothing. No sympathy, no guilt, no desire to comfort her. She'd made her choices. Now she had to live with the consequences. I need to get dressed, I said. I have a meeting with my lawyer. Your lawyer. God, this is really happening. Yes, it is, and the sooner you accept that, the easier this will be for both of us. I left her in the kitchen and went upstairs to shower and change. When I came back down, she was gone. Her car was no longer in the driveway, and the guest room looked like it had never been occupied. She'd left a note on the kitchen counter. I'm sorry for everything. I hope someday you can forgive me. K. I crumpled it up and threw it in the trash with the ruined eggs. Greg's office was everything you'd expect from a successful attorney. Floor-to-ceiling windows, expensive furniture, law books arranged with military precision. Greg himself was a big man with graying hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. So, he said, settling behind his desk, tell me what happened. I told him everything. The anniversary dinner, the clubbing plans, the casual suggestion that I divorce her if I didn't like it, my decision to actually follow through. Greg listened without interrupting, taking notes on a legal pad. Online filing, he said when I finished. Smart move. Shows premeditation, which works in our favor. Premeditation? You didn't file in anger. You didn't file impulsively. You thought about it, made a rational decision, and followed through. That's going to play well if this gets contentious. Will it get contentious? Depends on her, and her lawyer, when she gets one. But based on what you've told me, she doesn't have much leverage. No kids, both parties employed, clear evidence of her prioritizing other relationships over the marriage. Other relationships? This Tyler character, even if nothing physical happened, she made it clear that spending time with him was more important than honoring her marriage commitment. I hadn't thought of it that way, but Greg was right. Kendall had chosen Tyler over me, even if she hadn't admitted it to herself. What happens next? She gets served Monday morning. She'll have 30 days to respond. If she contests anything, we go to mediation. If mediation fails, we go to court. How long does the whole process take? If she's cooperative, 6 months, maybe less. If she fights it, could be a year or more. And the house? Community property. She's entitled to half the equity unless we can prove she contributed less to the marriage. She makes good money. We both contributed. Then it's 50-50. But here's the thing. She can't afford to buy you out, and you probably can't afford to buy her out either. So, the house gets sold. I nodded. I'd already figured that out. Any questions? Just one. Was I crazy to do this? Greg leaned back in his chair and studied me. You want the lawyer answer or the friend answer? Friend answer. You did exactly what I would have done. Maybe what I should have done back when my ex-wife was pulling similar stunts. Marriage is a partnership. When one partner stops participating, the partnership ends. Simple as that. I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. For the first time since Friday night, I felt like maybe I'd made the right choice. The lawyer answer? You've got a solid case, clean filing, clear grounds, documented evidence of her prioritizing other relationships. Unless she's got something we don't know about, this should be straightforward. I left Greg's office feeling better than I had in months, maybe years. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was in control of my own life. My phone buzzed with a text from Kendall. Can we please talk? I'm staying at the Marriott downtown, room 412. I deleted the message without responding. Monday morning came faster than expected. I was drinking coffee and reading the news when my doorbell rang at 8:30. Through the window, I saw a man in a cheap suit holding an envelope. Process server, right on time. Mr. Jameson? That's me. These are for your wife. Is she available? She doesn't live here anymore. He frowned and checked his paperwork. This is the address we have on file. She moved out Saturday night. Try the Marriott downtown. Do you have a room number? I almost said no. Almost. But then I remembered her text message. 412. He made a note and left. An hour later, my phone exploded with calls and texts from Kendall. I ignored them all. The next few days passed quietly. I went to work, came home, ordered takeout, watched whatever I wanted on TV. It was peaceful in a way our house hadn't been for months. Thursday afternoon, Greg called. She lawyered up, he said without preamble. Good lawyer? Rebecca Reeves. She's competent but not spectacular. More importantly, she's expensive. Your wife's going to burn through her savings pretty quickly if this drags out. Is she going to fight it? Hard to say. Reeves filed a response, but it's pretty standard stuff. No major surprises. What kind of surprises were you expecting? Accusations of abuse, hidden assets, infidelity claims, the usual desperate moves. And there aren't any? Not so far. Looks like she's going to play it straight. That surprised me. I'd expected Kendall to come out swinging, to try to paint me as the villain somehow. What's our next move? We wait. Ball's in their court now. Friday evening, exactly 1 week after the anniversary disaster, I was grilling a steak in my backyard when I heard voices from the front of the house, female voices, getting louder. I walked around to investigate and found Kendall standing in my driveway, arguing with Monica and Sasha. All three women looked angry. Told you this was a bad idea, Monica was saying. I just need to talk to him, Kendall replied. You need to accept reality, Sasha added. You screwed up, it's over. They noticed me standing there and fell silent. Ladies, I said. Lovely evening, isn't it? Ethan, Kendall stepped forward. I was hoping we could talk. I thought I made it clear that we're done talking. All communication goes through our lawyers now. Please, just 5 minutes. Monica rolled her eyes. Kendall, the man filed for divorce because you chose clubbing over your anniversary. What part of it's over don't you understand? Stay out of this, Monica. I am out of this. We all are. You made your choice last Friday night, and now you're living with the consequences. Some friends you are, Kendall snapped. Some wife you were, Sasha shot back. Ethan's a good guy. He deserved better than what you gave him. I had to admit, I was enjoying this. Watching Kendall's support system crumble in real time was oddly satisfying. You're right, I said to Sasha. I did deserve better. See? Monica threw up her hands. Even he agrees. You threw away the best thing that ever happened to you for one night at a club, with a guy who probably doesn't even remember your name. Kendall's face crumpled. Tyler remembers my name. Does he? Sasha asked. When's the last time you talked to him? Silence. That's what I thought, Monica said. He got what he wanted, attention from a married woman, and now he's moved on to the next conquest. That's not true. Isn't it? Call him right now. See if he answers. Kendall pulled out her phone with shaking hands. She scrolled through her contacts and placed the call. We all listened as it rang once, twice, 3 times, then went to voicemail. Tyler, it's Kendall. Can you call me back? I really need to talk to someone. She hung up and looked at us defiantly. He's probably busy. Probably, I agreed. Busy with someone else. Monica and Sasha exchanged a look. We're done here, Monica said. Kendall, you need to figure out your life and stop dragging us into your drama. They walked back to Monica's car, leaving Kendall standing alone in my driveway. Ethan, please. Can't we work this out? Work what out? You told me to divorce you. I divorced you. End of story. I made a mistake. Yes, you did. A big one. And now you get to live with it. I'll do anything. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. What I want is for you to sign the divorce papers and move on with your life. I can't afford to move on. Do you know how much my lawyer costs? $300 an hour. I'm going to be broke in a month. Then maybe you should have thought of that before you destroyed our marriage. Her phone buzzed. She looked at it hopefully, probably thinking Tyler had called back. Instead, her face fell. What is it? My lawyer. She wants to meet Monday morning to discuss settlement options. Good. The sooner we settle, the sooner this is over. Ethan, I'm begging you. Please don't do this. I looked at her standing there in my driveway, and for a moment I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Then I remembered Friday night, remembered her casual dismissal of our anniversary, remembered her telling me to divorce her like it was a joke. You did this, Kendall. Not me. You. I turned and walked back to my stake, leaving her alone in the driveway. A few minutes later, I heard her car start and drive away. The weekend passed without incident. Monday morning, Greg called with news. They want to settle, he said. That was fast. Reeves is smart enough to know they don't have a case, and your wife is smart enough to know she can't afford to fight this. What are they offering? Standard 50-50 split. She keeps her car and personal belongings, you keep yours. House gets sold, proceeds divided equally. Retirement accounts split according to state guidelines. What about spousal support? She's not asking for any, probably because Reeves told her she wouldn't get it anyway. So she's basically accepting everything we wanted? Looks that way. We can have papers drawn up by the end of the week. Do it. Wednesday afternoon, I was leaving work when I spotted a familiar Range Rover in the parking lot. Tyler Mendoza was leaning against it, arms crossed, looking like he was posing for a magazine cover. Ethan Jameson? He called out as I approached my car. That's me. Tyler Mendoza, I think we need to talk. I don't think we do. It's about Kendall. What about her? She's been calling me, a lot, texting, showing up at my club. It's getting weird. I unlocked my car and threw my briefcase in the back seat. And you're telling me this why? Because she's your wife. Soon-to-be ex-wife. As of Friday, she's not my problem anymore. Look, man, I feel bad about what happened. I didn't know she was married when she started coming around. I turned to face him. She was wearing a wedding ring. Yeah, well, a lot of married women come to the club. Doesn't mean anything. It meant something to her. That's what I'm trying to tell you. She's got some kind of fantasy going on. Thinks we have a relationship or something. And you're just an innocent victim? I never promised her anything, never even kissed her. She's been throwing herself at me for weeks, but I don't mess with married women. How noble of you. I'm serious. I told her last night she needs to back off. That's when she started crying and talking about how her husband divorced her and it's all my fault. I almost laughed. And you believe that it's your fault? Isn't it? No, Tyler. It's her fault. She chose to pursue you instead of working on her marriage. She chose to skip our anniversary dinner to go to your club. She chose to tell me to divorce her if I didn't like her behavior. You didn't make those choices. She did. He looked relieved. So you don't blame me. I don't blame you for her choices, but I don't respect you either. You knew she was married, and you enjoyed the attention anyway. Fair enough. He pushed off from his car. So what do I do about her calling me? Block her number, ban her from your club, make it clear that whatever fantasy she's been living is over. And if she doesn't get the message, then call the police. But don't call me. Like I said, she's not my problem anymore. He nodded and got in his Range Rover. As he drove away, I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. Even Tyler Mendoza, the man Kendall had thrown away our marriage for, didn't want her. Thursday evening, Greg called with the final settlement agreement. She signed everything, he said. No changes, no demands, no drama, it's over. Just like that? Just like that. House goes on the market Monday. Divorce will be final in 6 months, but the property settlement is effective immediately. What about her stuff? She can arrange to pick it up this weekend. After that, anything left behind becomes yours. Friday afternoon, exactly 2 weeks after our anniversary disaster, Kendall showed up with a moving truck. I watched from the window as she directed 2 men in loading her belongings. Clothes, shoes, some furniture she'd brought into the marriage, personal items. She didn't try to take anything that wasn't clearly hers. No arguments, no attempts to claim joint property. Just a quiet, efficient removal of her life from our house. When they were finished, she walked to the front door and knocked. I considered not answering, but curiosity got the better of me. "I'm done," she said quietly. "Is there anything you want to say?" I looked at her standing on what used to be our front porch. She looked smaller somehow, diminished. The confident woman who dismissed our anniversary 2 weeks ago was gone, replaced by someone who looked lost and defeated. "Yeah," I said. "There is something I want to say." She looked up hopefully. "Next time you tell someone to divorce you, make sure you actually want to be divorced." Her face crumpled, but I closed the door before she could respond. 6 months later, the divorce was final. The house had sold quickly, and I'd used my half of the proceeds to buy a smaller place in Manhattan Beach, closer to the ocean, farther from the memories. I heard through mutual acquaintances that Kendall was living in a studio apartment in North Hollywood and had been fired from her pharmaceutical job for poor performance. Tyler Mendoza had indeed banned her from his club after she'd shown up drunk one night and caused a scene. I felt nothing when I heard these updates. No satisfaction, no sympathy, no regret. She'd made her choices, and she was living with the consequences. Simple as that. One evening in December, almost a year after our anniversary disaster, I was having dinner at a restaurant in Santa Monica when I saw her. She was sitting alone at the bar, nursing a glass of wine and staring at her phone. She looked older, tired. Her hair was different, shorter and less styled. Her clothes were nice but not designer. She looked like what she was, a single woman in her 30s trying to rebuild her life after making a catastrophic mistake. She didn't see me, and I didn't approach her. There was nothing left to say. I finished my dinner and left, walking out into the cool December evening. In my pocket, my phone buzzed with a text from a woman I'd been dating for the past few months. Sarah was a teacher, kind and funny, and completely different from Kendall. "How was dinner?" she asked. "Perfect," I replied, and for the first time in years, I meant it. The diamond necklace was still in my safe at home, still in its velvet box. Sometimes I thought about selling it, but I never did. It served as a reminder of the night my life changed, the night I learned that sometimes the best response to an ultimatum is to call the bluff. Kendall had told me to divorce her if I didn't like her behavior. I didn't like it. So I divorced her.